We have a nuclear alert in New York. People have been saying it. Indian Point. It's a disaster waiting to happen. And these are the direct words from the governor, Andrew Cuomo. Yesterday I learned that radioactive tritium-contaminated water leaked into the groundwater at the Indian Point nuclear facility. The company reported alarming levels of radioactivity at 3 monitoring wells, with one well's radioactivity increasing nearly 65,000%. The facility reports that the contamination has not mitigated off-site, and as such, does not pose an immediate threat to public health. Now, if it's in a well, it could easily go off-site. There's no containment. It's in a well, which is not containment. Our first concern is for the health and safety of the residents close to the facility and ensuring the groundwater leak does not pose a threat. You can start by closing the facility. The latest failure at Indian Point is unacceptable, and I have directed a Department of Environmental Conservation Acting Commissioner, Basil Seggos, Commissioner Howard Zucker, to fully investigate this incident and employ all available measures, including working with the Nuclear Regulatory Commission. Yeah, they'll work with you good. To determine the extent of the release, its likely duration, cause, and potential impacts to the environment and public health. Well, it's only putting about 25 million people's lives in danger. The governor's letter directing Acting Commissioner Seggos and Commissioner Zucker will begin investigation and can be viewed here. I am deeply concerned to have learned that radioactive tritium-contaminated water has recently leaked from operations at Entergy Indian Point Energy Center. Has leaked into the groundwater at the site. This is not the first such release of radioactive water at Indian Point, nor is this the first time that Indian Point has experienced significant failure in its operations and maintenance. This failure continues to demonstrate that Indian Point cannot continue to operate in a manner that is protective of public health and the environment. The levels of radioactivity reported this week are significantly higher than in past incidents. 3 of 40 monitoring wells registered alarming increases. In fact, one of the monitoring well increases nearly 65,000% from 12,300 picocuries per liter to over 8 million picocuries per liter. Our first concern is for the health and safety of the residents close to the facility and ensuring the groundwater leak does not pose a threat. As such, I am directing you to fully investigate this incident and employ all available measures, including working with the Nuclear Regulatory Commission to determine the extent of the release. Well, they'll play it down. They'll say, it's not going off-site. They're already saying that it will not go off-site when it's out of containment. 8 million picocuries per liter out of containment. Its likely duration, its causes, its potential impacts to the environment and public health, and how the release can be contained. We need to identify whether this incident could have been avoided by exercising reasonable care. We also need to know how a recurrence of this episode can be avoided by specific steps that should be taken. Please report back at the completion of this investigation. Sincerely, Andrew Cuomo.